Normaniac said, I don't know how it can be said that Roode is a better champion than Punk based on the fact that the title means more in TNA. That's an element of the booking styles within the two companies and doesn't really say a whole lot about either man as a champion. I would disagree. I mean, we were basically talking about it from the point of not so much, well, I don't know about anybody else, but me personally saying Roode's the better champion entirely for that reason, because they're booking him as a better champion and not just a better wrestler. I mean, that's where I was coming from. If you want to look at these guys basically, as like a pro and con list, element for element, and yeah, but as far as champion goes, it's got to be Roode.
Yeah, like we said, and I kind of agreed with this. Wrestling moves, actually wrestling in the ring. Yeah, CM Punk's probably the better champion, but overall, character-wise, and with the importance of the belt and the importance to their company, WWE could lose CM Punk and it wouldn't hurt them at all. TNA would be severely injured by losing Roode, and Robert Roode, unlike CM Punk, has shown a great ability to kind of reinvent himself and completely change his character.
Well, but the catch here was that we weren't talking who is a completely better champion. It's whose championship run is better, right? Because
yeah, that was
the Roode championship angle seemed to be better because it just seemed to have more of there was more fan vehement wanting to see him get beat than there is for people wanting Punk to continue staying champion. Especially when you've got Daniel Bryan and Kane getting into the mix.
And AJ.
Roode doesn't even have to come out from the back. As soon as his music hits, fans are ready to riot.
Yeah, that's basically the point that we were trying to make, is that if you look at it, kind of combining Rob and Joe's points, is that if Roode loses the title, it's a bigger hit than if Punk loses the title. Face it, with Punk, like we were saying, like with Punk, Bryan, and Kane, and AJ, that whole storyline, the titles are just there. I mean, I could guarantee you, if they didn't walk out without him, no one would care. But with Roode, everybody wants to see him lose the belt. So, Mr. Ashik 8-4. Oh, I'm sorry, go on, Lee.
I was just about to say, it's interesting though that with both the titles, they're actually, WWE and TNA are in a similar thing where the titles are not the main storyline at the minute. Like, in WWE, you've got the whole John Cena thing, focusing on that, and TNA, you've got this Dixie and AJ thing, which has been absolutely pushed to the thing, which everyone has said, why?
No, that's a fair point, and we're actually going to be talking about that later, so thank you, Lee. Mr. Ashik, no, it's okay. Mr. Ashik 844 says, CM Punk is the best wrestler in the world, not for no reason. He could wrestle as well as Bryan, cut promos as well as Michaels, and his reign is so amazing that he watches Raw just for that. All of his matches are 5-star matches, and he could sell anything. I'm assuming Mr. Ashik has a few CM Punk t-shirts in his closet. I don't know, I mean, real quick, you guys agree, disagree?
Well, he is, I could give him the best wrestler in the world credit. I mean, Bryan's right up there with him, in my opinion, but I don't think all the matches have been 5-star matches. A lot of matches lately, but before this entire Daniel Bryan Kane thing started, it kind of got a little, like it started to get really routine.
Well, when he was doing the Straight Edge Society, they weren't all that spectacular.
No, that depends on who he fought.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
All his work with Mysterio was epic. His stuff even with Jeff Hardy was really good. It depends on who he's up against. If he's got something who's shit, well, then it's not going to be good, because if he's got to try and carry the guy, it just won't work. But if he's with someone he can actually work with, and they can actually tell a compelling story in the ring, that's one of the things I pride Jericho on.
That's a really good point. Joe, what about you, Rob? Do you think that CM Punk really isn't the best when it comes to actually carrying somebody in a match?
No, I think he, as much as I'm inclined to support my fellow Chicagoan, he does not. All of his matches are not 5-star matches. He does have bad matches, and when he's forced to carry somebody, he does not do it as good as some other wrestlers I've seen. I think Jericho can carry a guy much better than CM Punk can.
Okay. I would say though that there's not, if everyone had a 5-star match every day of the week, there would be, I think there's specific levels which you have to put a match to, otherwise the important matches wouldn't stick out and they wouldn't be the match that they are.
Okay.
Right.
No, and yeah, that's a very good point. Mania 17 Austin, which by the way, he wasn't even the best thing about the WrestleMania 17, but whatever. Robert Roode has been a better champion than CM Punk because he is more of a main event player than Punk. Roode's character is being handled wrongly. However, he still cuts good promos, good physique, good matches. Punk is weird looking, tattoos, beard, skinny, strange promos. He loves Punk, but the fact still remains Robert Roode is a much more main event player than Punk on look, mic work, and in-ring execution and skill. Robert Roode wins on all accounts, better wrestler, better champion. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is, agree or disagree, it's a very good point. Robert Roode is the more archetype main eventer than CM Punk is, at least if you look at, historically speaking, that we've had as far as main events on these shows. Real quick, do you guys agree or disagree with that?
I'm going to disagree only because you're looking at them very basically on paper. If you actually jump in and see what they've done, Punk totally outshines him. I mean, hi, Colt Cabana. That promo blew Roode, any promo Roode's done out of the water. One promo could do that. It's crazy.
Rob?
Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about more, as Harrison asked the question, we're talking more of like an archetype. And when I look at, for example, physically speaking, when I look at Bobby Roode and I look at CM Punk, Bobby Roode does look like what you expect in a main event champion type person. He's got that. He's got the build. He's got the look. He's much more marketable than CM Punk is. CM Punk manages to overcome that archetype difference a lot better, but the fact remains that on a basic level, Roode looks more like a champion than Punk does.
Okay. Lee, what do you think? Real quick.
I think it's been a bit almost stereotypical in terms of like what you would imagine a superstar of WWE or TNA to be of. Punk, he's kind of he's almost like a new guy, a new look, new style, new face of WWE, something different. But yeah, Roode is kind of the traditional looking champion. I wouldn't say that Punk is. I'd have to disagree though, because I think Punk, he's made the name, and he does look like a main eventer, but just not for the WWE.
No, that's a really good point. That's basically my point. It's kind of like a combination of Rob and Lee's, and that CM Punk. I would say CM Punk is slightly better as far as talent wise, just because he did overcome that archetype. That said, Robert Roode is rolling that role like no other. I mean, that guy is just crushing it as far as what he can do as a heel role in TNA. Chat's saying CM Punk very much gets himself over first. Also, a really good point. He does tend to, in his promos, push himself over the talent, depending on, even if he's trying to sell somebody else. That is true. Also, big difference. Robert Roode plays a good heel role and puts up one hell of a match. CM Punk is a good champ like last year, but his matches sometimes are okay and good. He is kind of mercurial in that way. And regarding Joe's comment, Chad saying, dude, you're holding on to a memory that is no longer relevant. That CM Punk is long quieted.
It doesn't.
That, Joe?
True.
But I'll agree with that. But the fact that the guy actually can cut a promo that strong to make that big of an impact on the entire company. I have not seen Roode as long as I've watched TNA, which is at least as long as we've done this podcast. I have not seen him with anywhere close to that type of impact, pardon the pun, on the company as Punk has been on the mic in that period.
It's true. To Joe's point, it is true. Robert Roode has never been on ESPN. Rob, you get one rejoinder, then we got to move on. Go, Rob.
Okay. My question to that, Joe, would be, what's the use of having the ability to make those kind of promos if you're not allowed to do it?
But I think he is allowed to do it. I think that they have got him in there because he can talk on that mic, and there's not been a bad promo from Punk since he did it. Oh, don't get me wrong, not everyone's been great, but they've not been below a certain level.
No, that's an excellent point.